Around the 5th and 6th century, legends begin to accumulate about a great German prince born into a noble family in the Netherlands. These legends are depicted within the epic poem Song of the Nibelungs, describing this prince, Siegfried, as a hero of blessing and praise. At the same time, a second legend is introduced, carried by Wagner's opera Der Ring des Nibelungen, one of a very similar hero named Sigurd. The two heroes share aspects of their tales, but are ultimately recorded as separate individuals. Thus, the tale of Siegfried harbors enough resound to stand on its own. While fighting on behalf of the Burgundians, the German prince grows up to embody the purest ideal of a hero, taking on the requests of his people without question. As such, he is loved by all, with men yearning to join him in battle, and women seeking his affection. With every fiber of his being, he lives up to such lofty expectations. At one point, he is contacted by the Nibelungs, an underground tribe, and asked to fairly distribute their treasure in exchange for a cursed holy blade, Balmung, which was forged from the remains of the Norse blade Gram. Siegfried divides their treasure as asked, but the two kings of the Nibelungs find this verdict unfair and attack him. Siegfried defends himself, slaying the kings, claiming both the treasure and Balmung as his own. Among their treasure, Siegfried gains possession of Tarnkappe, a cloak of invisibility that grants him the strength of 12 men. This sets him further on the path of battle, which he feels he can never escape. On this path, he becomes stronger than any other, fueled by the constant requests made of him. He takes on all sorts of requests, from avenging the fallen families of officials to assisting nobles bed beautiful maidens. To fulfill these requests, he ignores his own self and sense of morality. To that end, he is seen as an impartial, wish-granting machine. Of course, this is a tremendous burden to bear, and to moderate his workload, he only answers the wishes of those who ask of him. Sadly, this means the people who need him most, the poor and destitute, go unsaved. From this, he realizes that, by constantly answering the wishes of others, he has lost sight of his own. Without an ideal to follow, he continues doing his people's bidding. Siegfried's most notable achievement comes from being asked to slay a horrific evil dragon, Fafnir. Of all phantasmal creatures, the dragon race is considered the most dangerous. Sturdier than castle walls, they breathe fire, ice, or poison, while wielding claws capable of rending steel. Regardless, he accepts the task and enters the mountainous cavern where the monster sleeps. He finds it resting atop a mound of treasure, the Rhine gold, said to be so valuable that a single handful would guarantee wealth for a lifetime. The gold filled the entire mountain, rendering it painfully claustrophobic. Fafnir melts into the distant darkness, yet its sheer aura is plenty intimidating, provoking images of pitch-black scales, serpent eyes, toxic breath, and a fiery tongue. As Siegfried presses forward, he finds himself terrified, and yet his will remains strong. Soon enough, his presence alerts the dragon, and it opens wide its vicious maw. Fafnir has grown so strong, it no longer requires food for sustenance. Instead, the beast tortures its prey, devouring solely for pleasure. Yet, for a single moment, the dragon hesitates, taking caution at the sight of Siegfried and his fearsome blade. The moment is enough for him to steel his resolve and charge into combat. Fafnir meets his charge with a soul-crushing roar. Soon, the dragon's flames light the darkness of the cavern. While light can bring comfort, this maelstrom of heat merely illuminates their hellish landscape. Amidst the chaos, Siegfried swings wildly, only to find his strikes having no effect. As he rolls beneath Fafnir's swung tail, he realizes this fight is akin to a human swatting an annoying fly. A single hit is all it will take to bring Siegfried's death. He hides this fear under his own shouting. To escape the flames, he leads the dragon outside the cavern into an opening surrounded by waterfalls. Regardless, he is still at a tremendous disadvantage as Fafnir's claws tear into his flesh. His vision clouded, he fails at another strike and is sent whirling through the air, burned by further flames. Yet, in that moment, his instinct to survive takes over, and he gains enough clarity to land a fatal strike on the dragon. Balmung rips the dragon open, causing its blood to wash over Siegfried's body. In an odd twist of fate, however, a single linden leaf blowing in the chaotic wind finds itself stuck to the middle of Siegfried's back. Thus, the hero drinks and is bathed in Fafnir's blood, which soaks through his clothes to cover every inch of his body except the small region where the leaf is stuck. From the fallen dragon's blood, Siegfried gains an indestructible body, with a single weak spot on his back. The exposed skin is dyed brown, now composed of dragon scales. From that day forward, he uses his immortal body to continue enacting his people's requests without failure. It appears as though he will never suffer defeat. With this victory over the dragon, Siegfried also takes home the vast treasure of the Rhinegold, making his kingdom the wealthiest of all surrounding regions. With it, he holds great feasts and tournaments. He offers up tributes so large that entire caravans struggle to carry them. His deeds fighting for the Burgundian army lead him to hear rumors of their beautiful princess, Kriemhild. This leads to their marriage and subsequent tragedy. Siegfried's new brother-in-law, the Burgundian king, Gunther, has fallen in love with the Queen of Iceland, Brunhild, and requests Siegfried's help in wooing her. In addition to being a queen, Brunhild is a strong warrior, and as such, she demands her suitors overcome 3 feats of physical strength. When Gunther arrives to take the tests, he brings Siegfried along, introducing him as a lowly vassal. Brunhild finds this suspicious, but nonetheless watches as Gunther completes his 3 tasks. What she doesn't realize, however, is that Siegfried is assisting in these tasks, using his cloak of invisibility. The queen agrees to marry Gunther. On their wedding night, they are to consummate their marriage, but Brunhild suspects she's been deceived and verifies this by overpowering Gunther and tying him up all night. In other words, she will not sleep with Gunther until he can once again prove his strength. Confiding in Siegfried once more, Gunther asks the hero to don his invisibility cloak and beat her into submission. Once the order is carried out, Brunhild believes in Gunther's strength and promises to no longer defy him. Regardless, she still harbors suspicion based on the fact that Siegfried, who was introduced to her as a mere vassal, is being treated, along with his wife, as of the same rank. What king would marry their princess off to a vassal? Brunhild argues with Kriemhild on the matter, and Siegfried's deception comes to light. Brunhild takes her beating as an indication that he had slept with her. This wounds her honor and pride, leading not only to a fight between the 2 wives, but a conflict between their respective nations. Almost instantaneously, it becomes the people's wish that Siegfried be executed for his actions. Their final request happens to be his own death. Just as he has always done, Siegfried accepts the request, but realizes his immortality presents a problem. In trouble, he turns to his greatest friend, Hagen. The situation is beyond my control. Hagen, I am invincible, and so have never once been wounded by you. But even so, if I don't have you kill me. He reveals his weakness to Hagen, and grants him time to derive a plan. In return, Hagen resorts to a cowardly act, launching a sneak attack on Siegfried, striking him in the back as he takes a drink of water. Siegfried accepts this assassination, believing it to be necessary to bring peace to his wife and his people. Reflecting on his life, Siegfried realizes his failure while on the verge of death. He was certainly a hero, but one who lacked a will of his own. Thus, he yearns for the chance to be a hero on his own terms, acting according to his own sense of justice, without depending on the praise or acknowledgement of his people. I want to stand on the side of what I believe in. If I could do that, then surely I would be able to live with my chest puffed up proudly. I won't fight for the sake of someone else. I won't fight for my own sake either. For the sake of the benevolence that I believe in, the justice I believe in, the loyalty I believe in, and the love I believe in, I will take hold of this sword and fight with this body. That is my dream, my wish. I want to be a hero of justice. Sadly, his assassination isn't the execution people are calling for. Instead, he dies a tragic hero, and his friend is seen as a villain. More importantly, it only serves to strengthen the conflict between Kriemhild and Brunhild. Siegfried's wife loves him so passionately that his death sets her on a path for revenge. She marries Etzel, more commonly known as Attila the Hun, and uses her forces to strike back against not only Hagen, but also her brother Gunther. In the end, Kriemhild uses Siegfried's beloved sword Balmung to slay Hagen and claim her revenge. She is killed shortly after. Her campaign cost the lives of many men. Kriemhild felt that Siegfried yearned for revenge, but would not pursue it, since there was nobody to request it of him. Perhaps more so than other heroes, Siegfried's legend is told in various forms with differing details, but he is ultimately recorded into the Throne of Heroes as a unique identity. His vast treasure, Das Rheingold, remains in his lineage until eventually being obtained by the Einsburns. In the modern era, various struggling mage families unite under the collective Yggdrasilania clan in its attempt to activate the Greater Grail. Among these families is the Musikhaus, once famed for its skill in alchemy, which rivaled the Einsburns. Its current head, Gord, is the most recent in its decayed bloodline. Folding into another family was a huge blow to their pride. So Gord's parents always boasted of the family's past legacy as alchemists. Thus, the man, now age 36, is very prideful, even though his family's legacy is but a long-forgotten dream. While he has a harsh, grumpy exterior, he has a heart of gold that means well, despite his twisted view of the world. In preparation for the Great Holy Grail War in Trefus, he greatly contributes to the formation of the Yggdrasilania homunculus system, which generates hundreds of artificial humans who can bolster the family's ranks. Sadly, he certainly has a misguided interpretation of others and their value, treating the homunculi as inferior and worthy only of servitude and sacrifice. In addition to creating homunculi, Gord is also selected to be a master in the war. His catalyst for the summoning is the very same blood-stained linden leaf that robbed Siegfried of his complete immortality. Because of this, Gord inevitably summons the German hero as the Saber of Black. While the other members of the Black faction are willing to unveil their servants' identities, Gord refuses to let Siegfried's true name be revealed, because the hero's legend is synonymous with his one weakness. To further this protection, he hastily orders Siegfried never to talk. While there may be a strategic backbone to this order, it also prevents Gord from ever understanding his servant. This is unfortunate because, despite his negative self-esteem and reserved demeanor, Siegfried has a complex personality that includes elements of his nobility, modesty, passion, and stubbornness. Their lack of genuine conversation encourages defiance in Siegfried. For someone whose goal is to finally decide how to act according to his own justice, Gord's one-sided demands pressure him greatly. In battle, Siegfried possesses the armor of Fafnir, blood armor of the evil dragon, which is based off his legend of being bathed in dragon blood. This grants his entire body, minus the spot on his back, complete invulnerability against attacks of rank B or below. His primary weapon is, of course, Balmung, Phantasmal Greatsword, felling of the Sky Demon. He can activate its holy attributes by chanting, "O sword, let thee be filled," which triggers the mana stored in its central jewel to flow forth, blanketing the blade in orange light. When released, the energy erupts in a flash of light, taking the form of a surging wave. Despite the strength of his noble phantasm, it is not something he can readily unleash during the war. Doing so will have the same effect as declaring his weakness to the enemy. Regardless, Gord ignores this during Siegfried's fight against Achilles. the two heroes, each with their own form of immortality, come to a standstill that Gord thinks he can power through if Siegfried unleashes Balmung. When Siegfried attempts to dissuade his master, Gord uses a command spell to force cooperation. Siegfried is on the verge of essentially wasting his secrecy, when Darnik confronts Gord and forces him to use a second command spell to cancel the order. Gord's poor judgment and failure to communicate with Siegfried brings him shame, which further pushes a wedge between the master and servant. Siegfried is left to contemplate his desires as a hero. He yearns to act according to his own justice, and an opportunity presents itself when a fragile homunculus escapes the Igdamillennia estate with the help of Astolfo. Siegfried and Gord chase after them, and, upon learning the situation from Astolfo, Siegfried is forced to choose between his master and his ideals. The homunculus is very much like the impoverished people he denied in life, suffering to the point where they cannot even ask for aid. Siegfried decides to atone for his past mistakes, knocking Gord unconscious to protect the boy. Even then, the homunculus is fated to die if left alone. To save him, Siegfried tears out his own spirit core, his heart, and embeds it into him. Making the ultimate sacrifice, Siegfried allows the boy to live, while also empowering him to stand on his own with a sturdy constitution. As Siegfried's body fades away, he explains to Astolfo that by sacrificing himself, he is fulfilling his own wish without regret, finally making due for his past failures. In reverence to that sacrifice, the boy names himself Sieg and proceeds to act upon his own wish to save his fellow homunculi from their servitude. Sieg accomplishes this with his ideal magic circuits, newly found strength, and the ability to transform into Siegfried, temporarily using a set of black command seals called Dead Count Shapeshifter, Dragon Revelation command spells. Siegfried's presence in the Great Holy Grail War is brief, but his legacy continues on to further glory, ultimately putting an end to the war and preventing the invocation of Heaven's Feel. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please like, comment, and subscribe to OtakuDaiKun for more anime lists, reviews, discussions, lore videos, live streams, and the Holy Waifu Wars. If you're interested in seeing this channel grow, please consider becoming a patron or donating in a super chat during any of my weekly live streams. Also, feel free to check the description for my social media profiles, including an ever-growing Discord full of fans of anime and the Fate series. Until next time, celebrate your fandom!